Okay, it's 11 o'clock on a lovely Monday morning, and I have quite a bit to report as we have not done a video in a couple days. Here's our first original pepper coming out quite nicely, and here is a second one. I took the flower off the top that was starting to wilt away, as they do, um, to allow you to see the pepper there. And we've got one flower here. Everything is a bit tangled, but yeah, one flower there and a bunch of buds. This one's gonna flower soon. Everything's getting in the way. Right, this tomato tree over here closest to the window seems to be doing much better than the others. The one that was here, so I moved it over here to see if maybe the increased sunlight will help. Definitely a more sun-oriented plant. Again, more to the conclusion of the previous videos. I've been trying to keep this around 6, but adding more and more of the baking soda is driving up the EC. So what I did was I extracted an entire container of liquid from here and replaced it with fresh water. Since fresh water is somewhere around 7, the pH change was not as pronounced, but it did go back up a bit, and unfortunately I didn't notice the EC drop much either, so I'm not sure what to do when the EC gets too high. I suppose it still has room to add, since 1.6 was the upper limit, maybe 2, I can't remember precisely. But we still have quite a lot of room for adjustment before having to do any change of the container entirely. What I'm finding is that since I've left this container with the water in it and making just very slight adjustments over the days, but mostly just leaving it alone, everything seems to be growing a lot better than when you first put a fresh set of water. So it seems that there is a lot of microbiology in here that builds up over time, which the plants seem to, I don't know, be in symbiosis with, or there's something going on, I don't know, but it builds up over time, and then things get better and stuff grows a lot better. It still isn't exploding like I was hoping with the growth, but more research is needed and more will be done. Moving on to the potted stuff, here are the new hatches: lettuce, broccoli. I think this is another sweet pepper, I can't remember, but doing pretty nice here. And we'll go outside here now to see the later generations. Have an observation to note down here in a sec. Let's see, we got right, callaloo still growing slowly. Can't tell if it's supposed to grow at this rate or not. I took one of them out, put it over here. I don't know if I covered that in a previous video. It caught pretty nicely and seems to be going there. It was the smallest one, so can't do much comparison on which is doing better. This one has a bit of yellow and wilted leaves here. Might have to pull this one out or transplant it and see how it does in the bed too, but we definitely have to thin these out. We have too many in here. Right, this is the new cucumber. The plan for this is to keep it growing in this pot this time, and leave it somewhere around outside, let it get full sun and let it spill all over the place and do what it likes to do. This was transplanted from here when I had 3 of them, so it's a little bit further behind, but it's caught back, and although the lower leaves have suffered from the root damage, it seems to be doing pretty good. The difference between these 2 experiments now will be this one is in the see-through container, which is prone to the green growths here, so that will be sapping nutrients and oxygen and so on. So we'll see which of the 2 lasts longer, does better, etc. Alright, and well, that lettuce, as you can see here, when they don't have room to stretch, they do this. Not very good. Have to pluck that out at some point, move it if I can. The pak choi, Chinese cabbage, has done the interesting thing where here you can see these fuzzy white roots have sprouted at the top. They seem to do that when there's a lack of ability to gather oxygen from beneath, and that was the case here since the algae growth was rampant and probably has removed much of the oxygen from this environment. The rainwater is definitely added back though. Before these leaves were getting yellow, now they've greened back out, so it looks like we're back on track here. And yeah, now interesting observation over here. This is a floppy state of plant, whereas this is not. I think I may have some insight as to how this happens. Early this morning, around 8 a.m., this soil was dry. I came out and added quite a bit of water to make sure it would have throughout the day. These were all fully, everything was fully out except this was starting to flop a bit. Now that the sun's come out, I came down afterwards and this was still moist in full bloom like so. And these were floppy. And the soil was dry. I put water in at that time, but they still haven't pulled back out yet. But the observation is basically this: when the soil dries out and water is short, the leaves tend to close up. I don't think it's so much the sun as it is the fact that it doesn't have the moisture to pull when the photosynthesis occurs in the leaves and so on and so forth. You can see here there's no floppiness of the lettuce, and it's got plenty of moisture, has for a while. They don't seem to use a whole lot. And this has been a general observation across the board. So I'm thinking if I was to put some sort of drip or some sort of steady watering thing in here so that in the morning nothing dries out, then these things would grow a lot faster, since they wouldn't have that downtime between when I wake up and I'm able to water them and when the sun dries out and they slow down. Over here, the two sweet peppers that were ailing a long time upstairs are now catching back fully. We've even got a flower. The top doesn't look quite as developed as upstairs in the tank, but it's definitely getting there quite quickly in comparison. The sun doesn't seem to have as much of a wilting effect here as it does upstairs. More on that as time progresses. Let's see. I suppose we could get a little peek at the basil plant here. Pull it across. There we go. So you got 3 heads now, coming quite a bit to look like that one there. And the 4th one here coming out too. Gotta pick out some of these weeds. But yeah, it's looking good. Keeping it moist. Can probably transplant that into one of the beds soon. And yeah, the cucumber vine of doom. I think that's an appropriate title, as there's only 2 of them, mind you. They have now run everywhere, grabbed everything, as you can see right here, and have split so many different branches. This is 1, 2, 3 different branches. There's 2 more over there. There's 5, and then the original 2 over here. That is 7 branches in all from 2 vines that originally just have 1 each. So yeah. Oh wait, hold on. There's an 8th. Forgot about this guy right here. 8 in all. This thing's going crazy. The earlier leaves here are starting to show signs of major fatigue, but further on everything looks great. So I'm thinking this shouldn't be a problem, especially because this is in the shade. The soil won't really have a problem drying out or anything. And finally, a look at the fruit. You can see it right there. That is the largest one. The others are kind of following along. See if I can find. There's one there, right up in there. And as usual, the flowers are huge. Between the lizards that crawl around out here and the ants, they seem to be managing the flies and so on quite nicely. Of course, we still have this snail problem you can see here. I don't know if I should be putting on much more of the spray though. So it seems like that might be what caused this in the first place. Over here where I was spraying, it has the same kind of mottled discoloration, whereas over here where I've only sprayed once or twice, the leaves are still full green and looking very nice. So we're going to see if that remains so, or if whatever is afflicting that comes out here too. Which on a side note also shows the development here looking good, coming up very strong. I think these are the most promising of the tomatoes we have here. Thinking we'll actually get some fruit from those. Alright, I think that's it for now. Over and out until next time.